Hello and welcome to a celebration of the rugby tour that never was. In July 2020, the Sedbergh School Football Club were due to tour South Africa on what would have been a trip of a lifetime, not only for 40 boys from Sedbergh School, but also the coaching staff and the parents of the boys going on the tour. Very sadly, the pandemic of COVID-19 put pay to that tour. But that doesn't mean to say a huge amount of good has been done along the way in preparation. And while very, very disappointing and sad for those involved, some good has come out of this after all. What follows in the next 45 minutes or so are a series of interviews and chats with the people who'd been involved in the tour, and in particular representatives of the Connect Sports Academy, who were to be the beneficiaries of some fundraising done at Sedbergh School, and were also due to be opponents that the boys were to play on their tour. Also, we have a South African Sevens superstar joining us. We have England's second highest top try scorer ever, and look out for the sneezing flanker along the way as well. But what I'm sure you will agree with is that what follows is an amazing example of how rugby can be more than just a sport. Values such as sportsmanship, discipline, teamwork and respect unite people in a unique way that can positively affect lives without a ball being passed or indeed a tackle being made. I hope you enjoy the next 45 minutes.
Okay, just on behalf of Sedbergh School Football Club, I'd just like to say a huge welcome to our good friends from Cape Town in South Africa, Max and Murray, founders of the Connect Academy. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you?
Good and you, Simon. Thanks for having us.
Our pleasure. And look, guys, just to give our viewers a bit of an insight as to why we're doing this video call, we were, as it stands, meant to be in South Africa on our tour, and unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we weren't able to make the trip. And the biggest part of our trip really was our charity that we've supported, which is the Connect Academy. And I know both Max and Mary have done an incredible job at this, getting this charity going. It's an amazing rugby program, and I guess from our point of view, we just wanted to give the viewers a bit of an insight as to how we first formed this relationship. So I'll just hand over to you and let you discuss a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. I think Max and I had this grand ambition of trying to take a side over to the Rosalind Park Sevens. We've got a great group of young kids that are now under 16. I think you guys call them Colts. And we came over last year, and we've got a good relationship with Edwin Doran Sports. And when we came over, we were watching, I think, on the first day, and all the guys there, Sean and Jamie, and they said, "Have you seen Sedbergh yet? Have you seen Sedbergh yet?" And I personally didn't know that much about the school set up there at the time, and Max told me a bit of the folklore. And long story short, we spent the next couple of days watching you guys play, and just really fell in love with the style of play that your kids kind of play. It's all heads up, and there's a lot of joy in there. And just some of you young Colts really reminded me of some of the young kids that we wanted to bring over. And then, subsequently meeting you, Simon, and some of the other coaches. And yeah, and then, the guys from Edwin Doran told us, well, they're touring next year, and it'd be great if we could get a game together. And yeah, I think everything just kind of took a head of steam from there.
I hope we don't drop you in it, Simon, with this, but my memory is distinctly of you instantly offering us full bed and board at Sedbergh for a bunch of us and our scraggly 16-year-olds, which would have happened before this year's Rosalind Park, and that to us meant, that meant the world, just as a way of kicking off a relationship like that. We've come into contact with several schools from the UK in the last few years, working with Edwin Doran Sports Tours, who you guys would have come out here with, and it's really nice to get beyond that first level, you know, where people want to help, people want to get to know a bit about what we do and South African youth and South African rugby. And so to be able to build on something a bit more meaningful would have been brilliant, but the fact that we're able to talk now and you know, be in the situation now is fantastic too.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I guess from our point of view, you know, we were so impressed on that first meeting, you know, walking around the pitch at Roslyn and hearing, I guess, your vision of what you see for Connect going forward and what you've done to ultimately change these young men's lives. And I guess for us, it was a win-win. You know, rugby is heavily ingrained in our DNA in Sedbergh and also is giving back. And, you know, we really love supporting charities, and to be able to support a charity that is also connected so heavily with rugby, I guess that was a real win-win for us. And, you know, we asked the boys about that, and their first answer was absolutely, you know, we want to support, you know, such a great charity. And, you know, seeing what you guys have done and the players that have come through your system and ultimately the way you've changed their lives, it's just so inspirational. And for us to be a part of that, it's a real honour and a real privilege. So thank you so much for allowing us to help you. You know, we're so excited about this relationship going forward.
Yeah, us too, and thanks to everyone at Sedbergh as well. You know, it really is going to make a huge difference. What people have come together to contribute. I mean, not least because of the exchange rate at the moment. That always helps too. But I mean, some people think we're a bit mad, and maybe we are. But we think that you can be ambitious when doing this development work and working with young people, particularly as we do from usually the most challenging of backgrounds in South Africa. We don't think that their ambition should be any lower than anyone else's. We don't think their ceiling should be any lower than anyone else's. And all we see ourselves doing is kind of giving them the platform and the environment to show what they can do. You know, we have to knock down a few hurdles in the way and, you know, smash a few doors down occasionally, and we're kind of tired of arguing with people. But if we can give them that environment to grow in, or where we are now has been led by them and their development and their progress. So, you know, who's to say where we can be in the next couple of years?
Absolutely. And a personal thank you again, you know, for just what you're doing. And look, I guess from our point of view, although we can't be with you this time, you know, we're definitely going to be with you going forward. And as I said, like, this is the first step, really, I believe, in what will be a great relationship going forward. And our parents, our players have done an amazing job to fundraise, and we're so excited about what we can give to you guys. And, you know, we really truly hope that this will help you going forward and just make our relationship really strong. And just, you know, thank you for all you're doing. And, you know, we've got this great game in common, haven't we? And I guess when they step on that field, it doesn't matter what background you've got. You know, you come in and you play this great game, enjoy this great game, and it's a privilege for us to be involved with you. So thank you again.
No, I mean, the same for us. And the thing that excites me most is obviously, yeah, I mean, you guys have raised a significant amount of money for us, and it's incredible. It's come out of the blue. We never expected that it was going to be, you know, that much. But beyond that, I mean, we've got these great passions of trying to get our kids to see the world, and whether it's as a player or as a coach. And so we're definitely going to be hitting you up, not just for money, but you know, I'd love to see a coach coming in and doing this, you know, a stint as in a you know, as a young up and coming coach or something, and seeing what the school's about, or maybe even a player. You know, for us, that's why Max says we're a bit mad, because from day one we've been dreamers about what's possible, and we've always tried to instill that in our kids, that we don't want to, you know, have a ceiling for them. We want them to break through the ceiling.
I think it's only a shame that this year that you can tell from my accent, I'm born and bred in North Yorkshire as well, and I think it's a crying shame that our boys, sun-kissed Cape Townians, didn't get 4 nights of early March in Sedbergh.
Yeah, I think slightly different weather, I think, during that point, but
cold weather training, it's the future.
Cold weather training, absolutely. Yeah, no, look, and we would have loved to have had you, and that welcome, you know, and that extended invite is there for us for life. Look, we want to have you guys with us, and if there's ever an opportunity for us to get you over, we'd love to do that. And this will certainly not be the last tour we schedule to South Africa. We love going there. We love traveling there. We love everything about the South African culture, and we'd love to come back over to you guys. And yeah, I think
That's really appreciated, Simon, and that warm welcome extends here as well.
Our pleasure. All right, guys, that's amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk this morning, and I hope you guys have a great day, and look forward to keeping in touch.
Thank you, mate. I mean, genuinely, I think it's just, we have to say it one more time. Just the sheer amount of money that you've raised, it's going to go, especially at this time, you know, given what's happened over the last couple of months, and it's really put us on the back foot. And no, there has been moments over lockdown where we've wondered if everything's going to fall apart, and you know, to have something like this to kind of help us get everything up and going again, it's words can't really describe just how significant it is to us as an organisation. So thank you very much.
That truly means a lot. Thank you. And look, I know our parents, our players who have done so much work to fundraise and work so hard will be just delighted with that. And yeah, look, I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers.
Great. Thank you.
Newman, I play for Connect Sport Academy.
I am Whitey, I play for Connect Sport Academy.
Hey guys, my name is Lutho from Connect Sport Academy.
Hey guys, my name is Ange and this is Akona. We are future players of the Connect Academy.
Hello guys, my name is Hi, my name is Benson and I'm a player at Connect Sport Academy.
Since I came to academy from lessons.
And
To be a member of Connect, I feel very happy because Connect to me is like family. When I need something, my coaches do it for me.
okay, and how did you feel when Siakolisi lifted the cup?
Being a member of Connect.
I actually felt good because I've been in the system for like more than 5 years, and it has actually helped me grow as a person. Not only like in sports, but actually personally, it has actually helped me grow and made me to become a better person.
How did you feel when Siakolisi lifted the cup?
I'll say, no, it was a great. It was a proud moment for all the South Africans, especially the youngsters, like from the grassroots. It was great, yeah.
How did you feel when Siakolisi lifted the cup?
When Seabelo lifted the cup, I was very happy because it represented us at a high level. When it represented us, actually made us proud that that person can actually do hard work and succeed.
I'm happy because he was the first black person to lift the cup.
How you felt when Siakolisi lifted the World Cup?
I felt good because you must first look at the fact that he was the first black person to actually lift the World Cup. So it was like a moment for all of us black people. I mean for the world, for all South Africans, because it was a game changer for each and every one of us rugby players, black rugby players, because it showed us that we can actually do it. If he did it, then we can do it.
Okay, so just on behalf of the Sedbergh School Football Club and Sedbergh School, I'd just like to say a huge welcome to 3 of my players who've joined me this morning from various places in the country and in JJ's case, the world. So thank you very much for joining me this morning, gentlemen. And just a bit of background on this call. As it stands, we're meant to be in South Africa on our tour, and due to unfortunate circumstances with COVID-19, we weren't able to make the trip. And why we wanted to do this call was just to chat to you guys as players about what you were looking forward to about the South African tour, and how we were going to enjoy that tour as a playing squad and staff. And I guess to give you a little bit of background, as Director of Rugby at Sedbergh, we've been to South Africa on many occasions, and every single time we've been to South Africa, it's been a wonderful experience, both on and off the field. And we love travelling to South Africa for many reasons. And a big part of that reason is the fixtures we can get as a school. You know, as you players know, we love to test ourselves and play the best schools in the world. And we certainly get that in South Africa, and we would have had some amazing competition, in particular with Pale Boys and Grey College for the first time in our history against Grey. And, you know, the experiences we get off the field, the safaris, the people, you know, the fact that we're going to a country that had just won the World Cup, you know, what an amazing experience that would have been. And I guess to top this all off, and the best part about this whole trip was to connect with our amazing charity that we've supported, and you as players and our amazing parents have donated and worked so hard to get funding that we are going to ultimately give to our charity in South Africa, which is the Connect Academy, and hopefully be in a position to really change their lives and change the Connect Academy program's ability to really affect these young men and these great young men's future as they rise through the Connect Academy and into hopefully the pro game of rugby in South Africa. So just some quick introductions. So JJ with us, who is our current SSFC captain. I've got John Bailey, who is our current vice captain, and Louis Johnson, who is the incoming SSFC captain in September. And well done again on getting that role. So thank you, boys. So I just want to come to you now with some questions. And JJ, if I can start with you, please. So I just want to discuss with you, really, what it meant as current SSFC captain, what it means to you to tour a place like South Africa.
Well, I'd say for me personally, obviously, coming out of upper sixth year, it would have just been a great experience for me. Great chance to bond with all the lads over there and experience an amazing culture that a lot of people won't have experienced before. And obviously a massive rugby culture over there as well. So that suits us. And obviously representing the club would be a massive thing. Wherever we go, we do it with pride. And why not take it to somewhere like South Africa and try and do the club proud over there. And they get, again, like Mr. Mulholland, you just said, trying to test ourselves. We're always trying to go to new heights, test ourselves against the toughest opposition that we can. So personally, that was something that I wanted to do, and as well for the team, that's a massive thing that we were always trying to do, and that gives us a great opportunity to do that, and as well as kind of giving back as well. So a massive thing that Sedbergh School puts emphasis on, and we're glad that we can help in that aspect as well.
Brilliant, yeah, absolutely. And John, if I can come to you next, so what would touring have meant to you, and what were you most looking forward to as a senior player? You know, you had a great career within the club, and what would that have meant to you both on and off the field? What were you most looking forward to?
I think a really important element of the club's identity is, and part of our culture is always wanting to test ourselves against the best. And at an individual level and on a team level, we thrive off the best competition, and you know, running out there and then we're playing the best teams we possibly can. And you know, that is massively evident coming up against someone like Pal or Grays, and also just the kind of one-to-one battles on the field. So going out to South Africa, you know, when you're playing these two schools, you potentially play in future Springbok back rows, just for me personally, or any other position relative to you. And then off the field as well. I think what I was really looking forward to, like JJ kind of touched on, was that kind of opportunity to give back through the Connect Academy and meet with the kind of boys who've been given an opportunity through sport, and how sport is facilitating the betterment of their lives, essentially.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and I think, you know, we as Sedbergians, you know, we do have a big culture of giving back and supporting other charities, and I guess for us it's the best of both worlds. You know, look, we love the game of rugby. You know, that brings us together, and to be able to give back to a charity and actually help a charity that supports rugby, what an amazing achievement that is for us. So absolutely. And Louis, if I can come to you, please, and just as incoming SSFC captain, you know, what would it mean? What does it mean for you to lead the players abroad, and I guess take over from JJ whilst you're out there on this tour? And what would, you know, how does this help our preparation going into next season?
Yeah, so I think just to further John's point, we like to play the best, and this, us coming over to South Africa, would have reciprocated the World Cup final on like a schoolboy level, which would have been a really, really cool thing to do. And to play the best is the challenge that we wanted to set ourselves, and we always want to prove that we're the best. I think as the incoming captain, there's a lot we could have learned from the South Africans. Playing them, talking to them, spending lots of time with them after the games, we could have learned a lot from them to make us even better next year. And especially for the boys in the upper six, so like John, JJ, and all the others, it'd have been a great way for them to sign off, playing against the best team in the school, and finishing what was a great season.
Absolutely, I agree, and I think you've raised a great point there about, you know, individually playing some of the best players. And what I've learnt on the many tours that I've gone on is that you as players, it doesn't just stop on the field. So when that final whistle goes, the connections you make, the friendships you make, then often go on to be lifelong. You know, and rugby is such an amazing game, and you know, it's not uncommon that you will see these players that you play against in South Africa again on another field somewhere in the world, and that's very special, you know. And guys, just on the charity aspect, again, you know, we've done an incredible job. Again, you as players and the parents have been just simply incredible in terms of raising a phenomenal amount of money for our charity, the Connect Academy. I mean, what does that mean to you as young players in terms of raising money for this wonderful charity?
Well, from my point of view, it's really bringing through that Sedbergian culture and those Sedbergian values that we have, and just being able to give back to disadvantaged people, and especially through rugby, through a sport that we all love, that the school love, that the parents also love. Again, that's obviously massive for us, and yeah, just being able to give new opportunities to people, it's just an amazing feeling, really.
Yeah, I think as well, we're fortunate enough at Sedbergh to have the opportunity to fulfill our dreams and have everything in place for us to go get what we want. And for those less fortunate, by donating to the Connect charity, we're giving them that opportunity. And there's clearly a lot of talent in South Africa, so the likes of Sia Khaleesi, people who've gone through from less fortunate backgrounds, if they are given the opportunity, then they're just going to become even greater. It's about giving people the opportunity to live out their dreams, which is what we want them to do.
Absolutely, brilliant. No, I think that's great, and thank you very much, boys, for that. I think you've done a great job there, and again, I'll just finish by saying, look, what a wonderful charity the Connect Academy is, and I know from talking to Max and Murray, who are the founders of the Connect Academy, they're really excited about this relationship. And look, you know, you guys have done an incredible job of starting this relationship, and even though we can't go to South Africa, we're definitely going to keep this relationship going forward, and this is going to be the very first step in what's going to be a great relationship forward. So thank you very much, boys, for that. I really appreciate your help, and I look forward to catching up with you again very shortly. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mpande from Connect Sports Academy. I'm a coach at the PHPC. Meet new people, you know, like professional athlete, like sevens world player, Seabelo Senatla, like those kind of dreams, like, you know, like you're watching those guys on TV, and then like you just sit them and have a chat with them, and like it's very, very like, I feel like I'm blessed, you know. Like, yeah, I'm blessed, I know. But it's very cool, man, because Connect Sports Academy means a lot to me, you know, like it means a life, you know. Oh, World Cup, it was it's a day that I'll never forget, you know, because like it's been like 2 times now, like South Africa beat England in the finals, started 2007, now 2019, like it was a big thing for me, like see my country like win the final as well, and also have a black captain, Sia Kolisi, and also the guy to score in the final was Makazole Mapimos as well, the black guy, and Cheslin Kobe as well. And like, what can I say, like it was a big like moment for me, it was a huge like thing, and that day I remember watching with my coaches, like with other Connect Sports athletes as well, and like it was a big moment, and we brought, we celebrated. Yeah, it was a big day for me, and sorry for English to lose the final the second time. Maybe next time we'll get it, you know, I never know. Yo, first of all, if I want to do, if I can go to England, first of all, buy a lot of jackets because of the weather. And what I would like to do is maybe play rugby there, you know, and as well like be a coach as well there, and do a lot of things in England. And I would love to meet Dynamo. He's my favorite magician, like, because I'm also want to be that guy, you know, like Dynamo.
Hello to the Sedbergh Rugby family. Crikey, when did I leave? 1991, having worn the famous brown jersey, an Evans House boy, and the rugby I learned there has given me the passport to travel all over the world. Have boots, will travel, and we are travelling today. Well, you were supposed to be travelling this summer to South Africa for an amazing tour. We're trying to do the next best thing. We're bringing you one of the great rugby players of South Africa, Blitzbokker 7-star, World 7 Series Player of the Year once, World 7 Series winner twice, makes top 5 all-time try scorers in Sevens history. You're getting the picture. This guy is an absolute king. Seabelo Senatla, I'm talking to you from Slough, near London. You are in Cape Town. How are you, young man?
All good, man, all good. Just, you know, slaving along as one does. Just finished.
Yeah, and where are you in your sevens? Where are you in the sevens circuit? When can we expect to see something back, or are you just training and living in hope that one day you'll play again?
That's a touchy subject because World Rugby just gave New Zealand the title because they're top of the table there. So we kind of still, you know, frustrated like Asia about the whole situation. But we're all good, man, all good. They cancelled the entire season so long, and the first 2 tournaments, which are Dubai and Cape Town, for next season. So at the moment, we're hovering, trying to figure out what's going to be. But this year seems to be a cancel of the sevens. But for myself, in the meantime, I'm still, you know, stuck with the sevens, 15s rather. I'm here with the Stormers, and we're prepping for our national tournament, which seems to be happening around late August. So that's quite exciting.
Oh, that'll be fun. Well, we hope potentially do you have the opportunity to play against the British and Irish Lions.
That's the dream. That's the dream.
That's the dream. What a joy that would be. So, whilst the sevens is on hold, whilst World Rugby is on hold, you can reflect in the glory of Sia Kolisi and South Africa on November the 2nd, 2019. Special occasion for South Africa, but also a huge moment with the first black captain of South Africa, Sia Kolisi, lifting the Webb Ellis Trophy. Just Talk to me about what it meant to the people of South Africa to see Sia up at the front there.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I'm trying to find the words to perfectly describe that moment, and I'm feeling dismally. But seeing Sia on the podium, you know, lifting that bellis, it was pretty monumental. It gave me figures of Mandela being there with Proserpina, lifted it back in South Africa in '95. It had the same sort of feel. Not just for them, I think, but for the whole of South Africa, because it got us clinging on each other and basically being together as one nation, which is what sport does most of the time. So that moment was not just wonderful for the team or CEO, the rugby fraternity, but it was wonderful for the whole country, because at that present moment, you know, we forgot about all the things happening in the world and we're just one happy nation, which is quite critical.
And just put into context, give me the background to Sia in terms of his upbringing. We've heard lots of stories about being from a township near Port Elizabeth, and so the example that might set to other young sportsmen and sportswomen throughout South Africa to see Sia achieve what he has done.
He's done incredible things. He's a boy from Zwedi, which is a township from PE, Port Elizabeth. He grew up there and played rugby there, and a coach from PE Great College spotted him, and they offered him a bursary to go there. So he was schooling, they offered a full bursary to go to that school. He was schooling there and boarding there, and basically that's where his life pretty much started. From a total turnaround from poverty, as one would call it, to, you know, having an opportunity to make something out of your life, and boy, he made something of his life, right? From that, coming from the crumbs and, you know, borderline poverty to being the Springbok captain, lifting the trophy lost there is two different things, but it symbolizes the hope that he portrays by doing the things that he did. He has instilled a lot of hope, I know, personally myself and a lot of children coming from similar situations, because it's a case of you see these things happening from afar. When you see someone coming from the same community that you were in, someone you can touch and someone that's pretty close by, it gives you so much hope as a person coming from the same type of situation that, listen, man, yes, I'm from here, I come from here, but this is not final. I can do something with my life. And Sia is a perfect example of that. He's a symbol of hope for a lot of people.
And so we're here today. I know that Sedbergh have made a wonderful donation to the Connect Sports Academy, which is run by Max, and almost from the very building you're in at the moment. And I know you do a lot of work with some of the children involved. Just tell us where this money may go and how it will help facilitate a transition from borderline poverty township to potentially becoming a Springbok.
It's definitely going into the age groups of, you know, where the academy starts. They have people operating from 11 years old to right across. You know, they have the first batch of the crop actually translating into pros now. Quite funny for Stormers where I'm at. Two pathways that have come from those situations and have proceeded with the academy to be the men that they are today. Yes, they're still young athletes and still growing in their parts, but they're well on the way. And it's the same type of story. The storyline is the same. The same as Sia's storyline, you know, coming from pretty much, let's call it drags, because that's what it is. Coming from straight up poverty to try and make something for themselves and their families and the community at large. And that's what Connect does. It goes into those areas which are marginalized and try to make a difference, not by, you know, going there and policing mass support, because that's not sustainable, but going in there and, you know, picking a couple of children which are interested and truly helping them on a day-to-day basis. I'm talking about housing, feeding, you know, making sure that they have emotional support, making sure that they have training. So like it's all the stuff that they do that's pretty amazing. They always they're there with the crumbs, and they're throughout the ages, and not just one big mass production that's going to look good on TV or whatever. and doesn't help anyone because it's just for one day. They're really there throughout the whole journey, which is amazing. So they'll go into that.
It's amazing. The great game of rugby really does connect us all, and there's no greater analogy for me than for life, really, that every rugby team needs the fast guy. I'm looking at you, the slightly tall, big-nosed guy who can maybe do a little bit of this. We need the shorter, dumpier guy who can smash into things. Exactly. So, yeah, it's amazing. And, yeah, look, what an incredible opportunity to chat to you today. Thank you so much for sparing your time in amongst your hectic training regime. And it's wonderful, I think, for the pupils of Sedbergh and the parents of Sedbergh are part of this wonderful donation to Connect Sports Academy. Just to hear a little bit about the real story about what's going on the ground and where this money will go and how this money will help. So thank you very much indeed.
It's a total pleasure, man. And from myself and the rest of the boys, because I kind of mingle with them quite a lot. I know the donation is going to be well appreciated, or is actually well appreciated. Deborah and their parents, thank you so much for what you guys are doing to reach these guys' lives, because this is exactly what is going to happen. They're going to be enriched and they're going to be empowered. You guys are instilling some sort of fire to this hope that the CS of the world are bringing us. So we thank you guys. You guys are doing an amazing job. This is not seen as something that's light. We really, really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend. I'll see you next year on the Lions Tour. Hopefully see you out there for the Stormers, and who knows, maybe all 3 tests. Awesome. See you out.
Yeah, we're working for that, man. Thank you so much, yo.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the chat amongst the captains of the Connect Academy and Sedbergh School Football Club, JJ and Buppa. Can I ask you firstly to introduce yourselves and introduce yourselves to each other? JJ, I'll start with you, please.
Hi, JJ, obviously captain of the first 15 at Sedbergh. I mean, I've been at Sedbergh School for 7 years. Always been playing rugby, played since I was about 5 years old. Yeah, love it there. Yeah, lived all over the world. I lived in South Africa for around 8 months when I was younger in Johannesburg. Yeah, so I was excited to go back. Yeah, that's why I am.
Yeah, obviously, real shame that obviously with COVID and everything, this hasn't been able to happen. But can I ask you to just introduce yourself?
My name is Lukhanyo. I'm the Connect Sports Academy captain, and I've been with them for probably about 6 or 5 years now. And we've been together for quite a long time, and I'm from South Africa as well. And it's nice to meet JJ and to know him that he's from Joburg. And hey, so that's big, eh? That is big. And then,
I'm not from Joburg. I just live there for a bit.
Yeah, I just live there, but you're from South Africa. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Connections already. So, I mean, I obviously we've had a very difficult time, and really sad that you've not been able to meet on the pitch and lock horns, particularly as the English have had something to avenge after the World Cup last year. But can I ask you about perhaps the 12 months or the season before COVID? JJ, how did your team fare? What sort of season did you have pre-COVID?
I think we had a really exceptional season in Sedbergh. I mean, we had a lot to live up to, kind of coming through the previous 2 years. But I think all of the boys performed really well. We had some exceptional games, maybe a bit slow off the mark, but it was probably expected. I don't think any games really were unfair to us or didn't turn out how they should have. I thought the boys were amazing. Obviously, coaches all amazing. Our support was also amazing. I think overall it was a really good season. I'll look back on it very fondly. That's for sure.
And JJ, any particular games that stand out for you?
Of course, yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, Blackrock game was a massive one. Always will be. loads of history, and kind of everyone was thinking about that game from the start of the season, or even from the summer before. So that was a massive game. I came off quite early into the second half, so watching from behind the post was was tough. But yeah, the boys were just incredible that day. Great patience, great everything really.
And just to explain to Bupple the last sort of 10 minutes of that game, how it panned out.
Yeah, so the game was going back and forward kind of constantly. We gave away a lot of penalties, and they converted. Kind of last 10 minutes, they got a penalty to put them in the lead. I think we probably went 20, maybe 25 phases in final play, and one of our centres kind of broke in the opposition 10-metre line, kind of stepped through three of their players and scored to win the game, which was an incredible moment.
Oh,
yeah, it was really good.
Massive game between probably one of the top English schools and one of the top Irish schools. It was phenomenal. And Buppa, talk us through your last sort of 12 months, how the season's gone, and any particular highlights.
Honestly, I had quite a good season, because we were at the point last year where we played 10 games and we had won like 8 games. And that was like our highlight. That was like our top performance between the past 3 or 5 years. And we've done so much. Like, we had a good team last year. And then like now we're obviously going to have a good team again this year. But I think last year we had our best team, because we beat like all the top schools like last year. And then my highlight reel for I think last year, the last 12 months, is making the SA School side. So that's when we played the international series, where we play against England, France, and Argentina, and then Wales. So that was big for me, because obviously I was 17 last year, and then making that at the age of 17, it's big. And obviously I was hoping that I could make it again this year, because I'm 18 this year. But obviously the pandemic came through, did some damage, and then obviously now there's not going to be a tournament anymore. So that's quite a hiccup for me, but obviously it's not stopping me from what I love. So yeah.
And on a personal level, what are your ambitions on the rugby pitch?
On the rugby pitch, I mean, most people describe me as a rhino. I don't know why is that, but they describe, but I think of myself as a normal human being. But people will be like, you're a rhino, you're strong, you're powerful. So that's why they call me a rhino. But my ambitions will be that I'm obviously a team guy, because I know I'm the outstanding player in the team, because I know that it's a fact, and the coaches know that. So I obviously put the team first before me. And there are times that when the team is down, and then where as a captain you have to pitch up and then obviously pick the team up and then get the vibe back, get everyone on feet, and then you just play and play and play and play. So I'm that kind of guy. So that's my ambition. I want to get everyone to play the game, and they play their normal game. They mustn't try to do something that they're not used to do in like practice just to show off. So yeah.
Fabulous. Yeah, no, well done. And JJ, how would you describe the culture of Sedbergh Rugby and your team? How did why was it such a successful team? What were the key strengths of the team for you?
Well, with it being Sedbergh, there's a massive rugby tradition, and that's one thing that a lot of us put emphasis on. Kind of our tradition, our heritage, representing the club rather than representing ourselves, was a massive one. And in terms of a kind of coaching on the pitch point of view, for the last 2 seasons, we've put a massive emphasis on defence, because we come up against a lot of big boys. And yeah, we had a fair few in our team this year, but defence was definitely one of the things that put us above other teams. We put a lot of emphasis on that in training and personally as well.
Very good. Yeah. And I know Sedbergh sides have always prided themselves on their fitness as well. How do you think you'd have coped on the hard grounds in South Africa?
I don't think I can comment on fitness, to be honest.
Led by you, JJ, obviously.
Yeah, it would have been a massive shock coming from Sedbergh in the cold and the rain, and going to the dry pitches in South Africa. But I mean, you adapt, and that's one thing that. Well, another thing that we learned to do in games, you need to adapt a lot. So I'm sure it would have been okay.
Yeah. And Bupper, what about your side? What's big typical South African side, was it?
I think one of our strongest plays and ideas that we had to put through against teams was that we had pace. I mean, we had gas like in our team. So we always knew that if we always get the ball to the backs, then it's game over. Because we had like two, I think, a fullback and a wing. So they both like run like 10, sub 10 or they. So we knew if we just get the ball to them, then it's always going to be try time. So it's easy for the forwards, obviously, because you get some rest then because he's just going to score. It's guaranteed. So that was one of our strengths that we had in our team. And then forwards, we just used to bully the other forwards, and then we just let the backs play because it's always easier, and then you get to chill. You don't get tired. I'm sure JG understands that.
So, Danger Man on the wing and at fullback, where were your potent threats, JJ?
Oh, everywhere. I'd say our main threats are back rowers were massive. Reece Tate, John Bailey, were both just incredible in defence, incredible in attack. Worked like dogs the whole game. Tom Lanny, big centre, obviously. He was quality the whole season. Louis Johnson pulling the strings, found his stride later on in the season, and he was just incredible. And Fraser Jones, another one. I mean, there's a lot of names. Ollie Melville, when we had him, was obviously an exceptional player. I'd say in terms of qualities, going back to that, our pack all very experienced, all quite big as well. So that was definitely one of our strengths.
So, Bupper, it sounds like this virtual game, is going to be won and lost up front by the sounds of things. Go on, convince JJ how you were going to beat Sedbergh up front.
Obviously, from what I've heard from JJ right now, it seems like their pack is their strongest point. So what we obviously do, we'd avoid giving them line-out set pieces. So we weren't going to give them any of that. And we'd use our backline players just to beat them because it would be easy because I already know what's their weakness. And JJ is their strength. He just told me that. So we had to close him down and close the back rows. It's easy. And then after that, they're done.
Yeah. It's just such a shame that that game will never happen. But I'm predicting a 48-all draw for this one. Just to sit on the fence. What do you reckon, Simon?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think it's. It sounds like a great game. Two good sides. So yeah. Hopefully, one day in the future we can get this game going again when we tour South Africa. That would be something that we certainly want. But sounds like two amazing teams.
No, great, well done. Well, guys, it's tremendous to chat, and it just leaves us now with for me to hand over to JJ, who has a check to present, albeit virtually, over to Bupper. Take it away.
Okay, so I'd just like to say on behalf of the Sedbergh School Football Club, the Sedbergh School, all of the parents and the players who helped raise all this money, virtually to present this cheque from Sedbergh of £20,000 to the Connect Sports Academy in South Africa. And absolutely gutted that we can't be there, but all the same.
Yeah. I'd like to add some few words on that. On behalf of Connect Sports Academy, I'd like to present them as their captain, and I'd love to say thank you to you guys for what you guys done for us, for the donation. And it means a lot to us because we've been a program for 5 years, and it's coming from a developed side in South Africa, and it's from the townships, if you guys didn't know that. And it's many boys of color that are involved in the system, and we try as best as we can to get them in better schools and getting better opportunities. And you guys donating this money would help us a lot to improve a lot of our infrastructure, and we can get gym and balls and a lot of equipment to work on. So thank you so much, guys.
Guys, well done. And it just remains with me to say, wish you and, of course, all the other guys that should have been playing around about now, wish you all the very, very best for the future. And may your careers on the rugby pitch be long and enjoyable and very successful. But thanks for chatting today, and wish you all the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
And there we have it, folks. £20,000 handed over to the Connect Sports Academy. New friends made, invitations for parties on Lions trips. We've had a bit of everything. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'd like to sign off with a few thank yous. Firstly, to the team that pulled all this together in fairly short order. Well done, team. Secondly, to the organising committee and fundraisers who managed to pull all this together. To Mpande K, our brilliant travel agent. Thank you for everything, Amanda. Really sad it all came to naught in the end. To Charlie, to Joan, Joe, Emily, Roger and Ali Clark, and of course to the person who pulled it all together, by hook or by crook, to Lorna. Thank you very much. And lastly, a huge thanks to Simon Mulholland, Noxie, for all the efforts you put in, not only to the tours, but to the huge amount you put into boys rugby at Sedbergh and have done for a number of years now, with huge success. Thank you for your time and efforts in doing that.
Give me the shoes.